Okay, so in today's class, we are going to start about the clusters. Till now, we are working on Minikube. So Minikube is a single node cluster inside where you are going to host your pods. Unfortunately, if the Minikube got deleted, do we have any other alternatives, sir? So that means single node is always difficult to maintain. Of course, for dev and test, you can maintain, but for production, we need to maintain high availability. What is the exact meaning of high availability? High availability means maintaining more than one server. So here Minikube will provide only single node clusters, sir. For that purpose, we are using Kops. Of course, you are having Kubedium Cube Spray, which is manual process of creating. For that purpose, I am teaching you Kops. What I am teaching? Kops means Kubernetes operations. Okay. So Kops, also known as Kubernetes operation, it's a free and open source tool. Basically, it's not the inbuilt Kubernetes tool. It is some third-party tool which you use it to manage the Kubernetes cluster actually. Clear now? Kops is third-party tool. Main purpose of using Kops is to create the Kubernetes cluster and maintaining the Kubernetes cluster. Of course, open source tool, with the help of Kops, you can create, you can destroy, you can upgrade, and you can maintain the high availability production grade cluster. Which grade cluster, sir? That means in real time, you are going to use this kind of clusters on production level only. For developing and testing, you won't use. Depending upon the requirement, Kops can also provide infrastructure. Depending upon the requirement, Kops can also provide the. Here, my question is, what is the meaning of infrastructure? How many of you done your AWS course here? What is the meaning of infra? This point you need to tell. Why? Because it is a basic point. AWS is to create the infrastructure only. If you learned AWS means you need to have the definition on your mind. What is the meaning of infrastructure or infra? Sure. Huh? Exactly. Correct. But like apart from system unity is one more word actually. I'll tell you. The exact meaning of infrastructure is resources used to run our application on the cloud. For example, if you talk about, sir, to deploy an application, we need to have servers or not, sir? To distribute the load, we need to have the load balancer. Again, to have the security and privacy, we need to create VPC. Again, to scale the servers, auto scaling group. All of this together is called as infrastructure. Write this point. Very, very important definition. Infrastructure means resources used to run our application on the cloud. What is the meaning of infra? Resources used to run our application on the cloud. What is the meaning of infra, sir? Here I am writing, first of all, the main definition I am writing here. Infrastructure or infra, anything is fine. Infrastructure means resources so infrastructure means resources use it to run our application on cloud. What is the meaning of infrastructure? Resources used to run our application on the cloud. What are the examples we can talk about? EC2 is one of the example. VPC comes under infrastructure, as well as ELB, like or else ALB, Elastic Application Load Balancer, and so on. All of this comes under infra only, sir. Without infra, you cannot host any application. So here, this is going to create the production grade cluster. Depends upon the requirement. Kops can also provide infrastructure. You know what is the meaning of infra, right? Resources is to run our application on the cloud. Example, EC2, VPC, ALB, and so on. We have a lot of things actually. Kops is mostly used for deploying AWS and GCE cluster. That means if you want to deploy your Kubernetes cluster, Kops can directly support you AWS and GCP clouds actually. You can ask me, sir, why there is no Azure? You can ask me why there is no Salesforce. All these remaining clouds are still under developing. Those are on beta stage. Beta stage means testing actually. But Kops can officially support AWS only. All the other platforms like GCP, DigitalOcean, and OpenStack, all of them are on beta. Beta means like it is on testing stage, whether it is able to fix or not. But officially, Kops is going to support for which provider? Currently, we are also learning AWS or not, sir? That's it. Okay, sir, fine. You are teaching about Kops. Kops is to create the infrastructure very easily. Fine. What are the advantages? Means here, you can say, sir, can you say what is cluster in short? What is cluster? Group of nodes. Correct or not, sir? Priyanka, cluster is group of nodes. Already we discussed in Ansible, right? We discussed in even Docker also. Again, we are discussing on wherever you go, cluster will be cluster only, okay? Sir, coming to the advantages, first of all, it is going to automate the provisioning of AWS and GCP. I mean, like GCE means Google Container Engine, actually, we can call this, okay? These kind of clusters we can provision. Deploy high availability Kubernetes master. The meaning of high availability means more than one. Sir, basically, if you want more than one master also, we can get it here, sir. Next one, supports rolling cluster update. What is the meaning of rolling cluster? Hello. What you are doing there? Listen to the class. So it is going to support the rolling cluster update. That means initially you have one master node and two worker nodes. If you want to increase the scale, you can roll up. Okay. This I'm going to show you practically. Auto completion of command line tool. That means, sir, here cluster you are going to create with the help of CLI commands. The CLI command is going to complete automatically itself. For example, if you want to write bucket create, if you type buck, it is going to come automatically. Whenever in Linux command, if you are using tab, automatically command is going to fulfill or not, sir? Here also CLI commands are going to fulfill automatically. Generates Terraform and CloudFormation configuration. You don't know what is the meaning of Terraform and CFT as of now. Forgot about this one. I'll tell you Terraform classes. It is going to manage the cluster add-ons. If you want to add any external tool or external plugin for the cluster, you can use the add-ons here. Support state sync and dry run for automatic occupancy. I already said what is the meaning of dry run. In Ansible, we discussed what is the meaning of dry run. Without running the playbook, we can check the possible outcome. Here also, without running the Kops, we can check the possible outcome actually. Dry run means you don't run the command, but you can get the output, what it is going to perform. Finally, create the instance group and support the heterogeneous cluster. What is the meaning of heterogeneous cluster? What is the meaning of heterogeneous? Homogeneous means same OS and same flavor. Heterogeneous means different OS and different flavors. So these are the advantages. Or if you ask me main advantage, first of all, it is going to automate the entire infrastructure. Here you are going to create nothing. You will run only just one single command. That single command is going to create an entire cluster for itself. Okay. And there is no manual work. You can save a lot of time. If you want to create infrastructure for AWS, it will take at least 45 minutes in the least case. But here you can do it within 5 minutes. How many minutes? Compare 45 minutes with 5 minutes. How much of efficiency, sir, it is? Lot of efficiency, right? Like that. So coming to the alternative, sir, if you don't have Kops, which tool we can prefer? We have Amazon EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service. You can use Minikube, already we discussed, and you can use Kubedium, which is the manual way of creating the cluster. Rancher is one of the tool, and with the help of Terraform also, you can create the Kubernetes cluster with the help of Helm. Basically, Helm no one is going to prefer. Remove the Helm. Terraform is the last one. Of course, you have KubeSpray, Micro K8s, lot of things we have, but we don't require all of them. Major alternatives are Minikube, Kubedium, EKS, Terraform. These four are enough actually. Clear now, sir? Simply one word I'll ask. What do you understand by the meaning of KOps? To create the how it is going to create automatically. Clear or not, sir? So this is the main purpose. KOps is Kubernetes operation which can create the cluster automatically. Clear no? Fine. Sir, now here I'm gonna show you how to work with KOps. Just see it here like. So first of all, I'll ask you a couple of questions. Try to answer this one. Like you don't know about this concept. Sir, whenever I'm talking about KOps, see now. First of all, let's create an EC2 instance. So then we can perform the operation. Let's create normal EC2 instance without any specification. Launch instance. Guys, the tool is going to be very, very interesting actually. And here you are going to learn the real-time admin level activities in the Kubernetes point of view. So try to make some focus here. Why? Because nobody will teach KOps in your course, but I'll teach you. Why? Because it is the advanced tool of entire Kubernetes for the cluster management. Normal server or not, sir? Mobile store. Setup is going to be a bit lengthy, but we can automate. You can run the script or you can do the setup manual. Which one you want? Setup manual or automation? Why manual, sir? Without manual work, can you go for automation? First of all, I'll teach manual work only. Then only I'll show you automation. If I directly show you automation, you will be very happy. I'll be too happy. Why? Because I can save a lot of time, right? But at the end, you are going to lose something there, not me. Desktop/key pair. Okay. So let's go into the topic now. Sir, already we have the scripts. Every script I'm going to put on my GitHub or not, sir. So this KOps setup also I already mentioned on the GitHub with the help of the script. So now first of all, I'm going to show you that one. Sudo -i. Go to the GitHub. What is the name of the repo? Raham Sheikh. All setups. KOps. Yes. You can call it as Kops or you can call it as KOps. Anything is fine. Basically, generally we prefer to call KOps actually because Kops is not the correct word actually. KOps is the perfect word. But still some people used to call it as Kops only. Sir, here what is the first command, sir? What is the meaning of AWS configuration? I'll tell you. Sir, Terraform is inbuilt tool of AWS or third-party service? Third party. Why? Because in AWS, do you have any Kops here? I already clearly mentioned that one. Kops is a free and open source tool. Open source tool means it is third party application, not a part of AWS. For example, it is your home. In your home, one of your friend want to come and he want to watch the TV. He want to open your fridge. He want to eat all of your snacks. He is your friend. Sir, if you want to come to your home, if you want to watch TV and if you want to have some snacks on your fridge, what you are going to do? What you are going to do, sir? Give exactly what we are going to do, giving the keys. Without giving the keys, how can he enter into our home, sir? For my friend, if I want to allow him to my home, what I'm gonna give here? I'm gonna give here. Why? Because keys are nothing but permission. If I give key only, then only he can be able to log in. Correct or not, sir? Then he can watch my TV. He can open my fridge. He can open my salads, fruits. He can eat whatever he wants. Correct or not? Same like here, KOps also third party tool. KOps is what? Sir, third party tool want to interact with my home. Home means my AWS console here. What is my home here? Sir, Kops is not a part of our tool. Okay, but it still want to interact with my AWS console. Here also I need to provide keys. Why? Because if I don't provide keys for Kops, it cannot able to work on my AWS console. Why I'm using Kops? I am asking Kops. I need to create an infrastructure for our Kubernetes cluster. Can you please create infrastructure for my Kubernetes cluster? What Kops is going to tell? Okay, I'm free. You can use me without any paying money. With using my Kops, you can create the cluster. But AWS is third-party tool. Kops is also, sorry, AWS is our account. Kops is some third-party tool. When third-party tool want to create the infrastructure on my account, I need to give permission for Kops or not, sir? Just like you gave permission to your friend to enter your home. Here also, we need to give the keys for Kops. What we need to give? The keys are nothing but giving permission for the Kops. The keys are nothing but giving permission to the. If we don't give permission for the Kops, it cannot create cluster. It cannot create the. So the first thing here I'm going to do is to give permission for the Kops. How to give the permission for Kops is here we need to create the IAM user. What we need to give? Here I'm going to write the step-by-step point, okay? Why? Because for your clarity. Step number 1, giving permissions. Giving what? First of all, you need to go for IAM. In IAM, you need to click on user. So click on create user. So once you click on create user, so we need to give the name of the user. I am giving it as Kops. And here attach policies directly. We need to give the administrator access. Go to here. First of all, click on IAM. Basically, people is going to call it as IAM. Some people in real time call IAM. Work on IAM. Work on IAM means what here? Like, what does it mean actually? We need to call it as IAM actually. But some people prefer to call as IAM, which is the wrong thing. Okay, you people need to call it as IAM. IAM means Identity and Access Management, which you are going to learn on AWS. Okay. After this Kops is done, I'm going to teach you AWS. So there you are going to learn about IAM. Currently, I'm having one user, Terraform user. Terraform also third-party tool. To work with Terraform also, I need to give the permissions. I already set this to my 6 p.m. batch. Okay, forgot about the Terraform now. Click on create user. Username is. Click on next. Here are you seeing attach policies directly? So you need to go here. If you click on this attach policies directly, what is going to happen? You know, here we need to give the administrator access. Which access it is? Oh, 1 second. Attach policies directly. So here we need to give administrator access. What is the meaning of administrator access? He can do whatever you want. There is no restriction at all. So here I am going to give administrator access. Select this one. Click on next. Click on create user. Is the user created now? Step by step here I am giving for you. So please maintain some clarity here. Next and create user. One more time, let's do. So I'm going to delete this user. Next time you are going to tell me how to do it. Click on Kops. Now tell me the browser. First of all, click on username. I'm going to give it as. Of course, you can give username as well. There is no restriction. Okay. Kops. Okay. Let's give double S. Then attach policies. Which one? Why admin? To give entire access. Next. Create user. Are you seeing the user is created now? So now what you are going to do is, sir, go inside the user. Click on the user. Here you can see security credentials. What we are going to see here? In the security credentials, are you seeing here create access keys? Click on this one. Okay. So after that, click on the user, security, credentials. Then next, go for create access keys. So if you click on create access keys, first of all, select the CLI. You need to click on. Next, click on the checkbox. So the moment if you click on checkbox, I confirmation, I understand. Click on next. So click on create access key one more time. That's it, sir. Now your access keys are created. So once your access keys are created, first of all, you are going to download them. What you are going to do? Why? Because for future purpose, tomorrow also we are going to use the same access key and same secret key. Now what you are going to do is, sir, your step number 1 user creation is done. Why to create the user means to give the permission. First of all, I create one user. For that user, which permission I gave here? Why administrator access means he can give all of them. Of course, I create the user. But if I want to give permissions, I give the policy. But how I need to attach this user to my server means we need to create the keys. So create access keys, select CLA, click on the checkbox. Now we can create the access key and secret key. So then here you need to run the command. What is the command? AWS configure. If you go to your server and give AWS configure, first of all, it is going to ask the access key. Already access keys are no CSV file, but even though I have it here, I am going to use it from here. Why? Because same access key and there and here. Done. Next of all, I'm going to use secret key. I want to create my infrastructure on Northern Virginia or in Mumbai, whatever region you want, you can create that. Currently, I'm on which region? Mumbai region. Mumbai code is AP South 1. Are you seeing this one? I want to create my infra on this region only. So give the code. AP South 1. Output I want on table format. That's it. Clear now? First of all, you need to give the access key. Second you need to give the. If you give access key and secret key, now that user is directly attached for this server. He can do whatever he wants. Is the step number 1 clear for all of you? Everyone in the class. Clear? What about the online? Is the step number 1 clear for all of you? Why? Because guys, it is the high-end tool. That's the reason I'm going to explain each and every pinpoint clear for you. Okay. So when I ask you, try to give the response from your end. Okay. So seems it is clear for the online as well. Fine. Sir, in step number 2, what you are going to do is you are going to download or you are going to install Minikube. Sorry, Minikube not kubectl and Kops. Kubectl is to run the commands. Kops is the tool actually. Correct or not, sir? Already you know. For example, I'll ask you a question. Whenever you download any command from the file, I said 2 important factors. What are those? We need to give the executable permission. We need to move it to user local bin. Where we need to move? Same command, sir. Here, first command is going to download kubectl. What is the first command going to download? Second command is going to download the Kops. After that, I'm giving chmod. Chmod means what? Giving the executable permission. Why? Because that is file actually. File I want to use as a command. In that case, what I want to give? Executable permission. I'm using chmod plus x. I am using it for Kops and kubectl. Next, sir, whenever you download a file as a command, first of all, you are going to give executable permission. Second thing, you are going to move it to, all of you say, you are going to move it to loudly. Why we need to move to user local bin? Because all the user executed commands is going to store on user local bin. Correct or not, sir? That's it. So I'm moving kubectl and Kops to user local bin only. All of these commands I'm executing at single time. Okay. Shift insert. All of them are going to execute. Commands executed now. So it is your step number 2. In step number 1 is giving permission. Step number 2 is installing the kubectl and kops. Kubectl is to run the commands. Kops is to create the. First of all, first link is going to download kubectl. Second link is going to download kops. What is the command number 3? Tell me. Permission. Why we need to give permission? We download as a file format. Fourth command. What is the meaning of fourth command? Moving to. Why we need to move? All the executed commands by the user is going to store on. So now, is the concept clear till now, sir, here? For everyone? Sir, here one more thing is, whenever you work on Amazon Linux, if you download a file from third-party application, command will not work by default. Kops version. Are you seeing Kops? Kubectl version. Are you seeing Kubectl? Sir, we downloaded, we give executable permission, we move to user local bin. But why the hell these commands are not working? Means in Minikube commands will work directly. But in Minikube not in Ubuntu the commands directly will work, sir. But in Amazon Linux, we need to modify a file that is called as bash rc file. Which file? Type vam.bashrc. So come to the bottom. Here type export the path. Export path is equal to $path user local bin. I am telling to the bash rc, whenever a user use the command of kops and kubectl, try to take the command from this location. Why? Because those are not default commands, right? So this Linux command will Linux server is not going to recognize them. Why? Because those are not inbuilt command for Linux. So I am telling to Linux server, when I execute the commands of kops and kubectl, please use the commands from user local bin folder. Okay, save this one. Now after give source.bashrc. Source.bashrc means whatever the things we have given, it is going to work now. Without giving source command, it is not going to work. Now give kops version. Are you getting kops version now? Giving kubectl, are you getting kubectl version now? This is the thing. For Ubuntu, it is not required. But for Amazon Linux, it is very, very required. What I have done just now, open the .bashrc file, and I am telling that take the comments of kubectl and kops reference from user local bin. Why? Because these files I download from internet and send it to user local bin only. By default, comments will not work. If I perform this operation, then only it is going to work. So is the step number 1 and step number 2 clear for all of you now? What about you online? Are these 2 steps clear for all of you? Can you please confirm me on chart once? Here I'm writing this one also very clearly. Fine. Step number 1 is giving the permission. Step number 2 is installing kubectl in kops. So clear. Now step number 3 is creating bucket. Creating. Sir, first of all, what is the meaning of bucket? Huh? S3 only, correct only. What is the purpose of using bucket? That's what I'm asking. Oh, like we can drop anything. Okay, like what is the main intention of using the bucket? Like what is the main purpose and paradigm? Storing the data. Object level data we can store. Correct. Sir, here you are creating infrastructure. You are creating what? But why you are using bucket? Why? Because the complete information of infrastructure is going to store on bucket. The point clear for you? Complete infrastructure information is going to store on bucket. For example, here I have the infra. For example, let's consider it is a cluster. Inside this cluster, I have 1 master node, 4 worker nodes. How many worker nodes? Sir, these master node and worker nodes are there. Inside this, we are having pods. Correct or not, sir? Entire configuration of this cluster, we are going to store inside the bucket. Where we are going to store, sir? Bucket. So what I'm going to do is here, whatever the cluster information we are having, this entire information I'm going to take from the cluster and I'm going to put it on the bucket. Here, if I have the information, for example, I have two master nodes and 10 worker nodes. All of the information will be on bucket. I have 20 pods. Information is going to store on entire information of my cluster is going to store bucket. Why? Why means, for example, if you delete the cluster, unfortunately, cluster configuration is inside the bucket. With the help of configuration, can we recreate the cluster? It's a backup of our cluster simply. Even though if you lost your cluster, your data is going to store on bucket. With the help of data, again, you can create the cluster or not, sir? That is the purpose of creating the bucket. Clear na? So here I'm going to create a bucket, but before that, let me show how many buckets do I have. Go for S3. Of course, again, bucket you can create manual or automation. That's up to your choice. I am using CLI commands only. Why? Because if I create bucket manually, that is not again automation. Currently, I don't have any bucket, sir. As of now, am I having any bucket? Nothing I have. Here, I'm going to run this command. AWS S3 CP, CP not, AWS S3 API create bucket. -- name of the bucket is whatever you want. So if you go and see now, AWS S3 API create bucket. Are you seeing, sir? So here we are going to create the bucket. Bucket name can be whatever you want. There is no restriction. So here what I'm going to do is already this Raham Sheikh bucket is already created. So I'm going to use the bucket called DevOps by Raham 007. It is the name of the cluster actually. What it is? Name of the cluster. Name of the cluster can be anything. Name of the bucket actually, not cluster. By using this command, I'm going to create the bucket. If you see, by using it, 1 second, this bucket name is not available. Okay, so guys, see, whenever you are going to get this kind of errors, try to change the name of the bucket. DevOps by Raham, not I'm going to take it. Cloud and DevOps by Raham. It is the name of the bucket actually. Depends. Whatever the name you want, you can put any name for the bucket. You seeing the bucket created? So inside this bucket, now you are going to store the data. What we are going to store, sir? Let me replace all of them. Here I am replacing, and here also I'm gonna replace. Done. Now if you go and check, previously we are not having any buckets. Now you can see the bucket now. Go for buckets. Are you seeing the bucket now? Just freshly created. Correct or not, sir? So now it is going to give the bucket. Sir, inside this bucket, you can store your information now. Second point is here. Second point is, sir, whenever you create the bucket, whenever we create the bucket, I need to enable versioning. What is the meaning of versioning? Means, sir, if you delete the bucket, sir, if you delete the files inside the bucket, are we going to lose the content or not, sir? Are we going to lose the content or not? Here, second command is to put the versioning enable. What is the meaning of versioning? If you delete a file on the bucket, it is going to restore. We can able to retrieve the object. For example, in a bucket, I have 10 files, sir. I removed all the 10 files. Again, I have the capability to retrieve the objects. Why? Because I'm using versioning here. What I'm using here? I'll explain this command for you. First command is by using AWS S3 API. By using AWS S3 API, I'm creating a bucket, -- bucket. It is the name of the bucket. And I'm creating my bucket on which region? US East 1. Now, second command is going to work like this. By using AWS S3 API, put the bucket versioning. Put the bucket versioning. For which bucket? Cloud and DevOps by Raham 07 bucket. On which region? US East 1. Versioning configuration status is enabled. Previously it was disabled, sir, but now it is going to enable. Why? Because if you don't enable the versioning, you cannot retrieve the objects. First command is to create the bucket. Second command is to enable the bucket versioning. Why to enable the bucket versioning? To store the, to retrieve the deleted files. Third command is export content. Export means, sir, whatever the data inside your kops, cluster, export the kops state store into this bucket. That means whatever information on your cluster, export every information to my bucket. It is the command number 3. Again, one more time, I'm going to repeat these 3 commands for you. I'll ask you why to create. First of all, I'm creating bucket. Why to create bucket? To store the cluster information. Second one, I'm enabling the bucket versioning. Why to enable the bucket versioning? To retrieve the deleted files. Third one, exporting the store. That means currently whatever the data I have on my cluster, give the cluster information to the bucket. That means whatever the information my cluster is having, give every information to my bucket. So these are the commands actually. So is the step number 3 clear? Step number 1 is giving permission. Step number 2, installing kubectl and kops. Step number 3, creating bucket. Are the first 3 steps clear for everyone in the class? Loudly. What about you online? Are these first 3 steps clear for everyone in the class? Can you please confirm and chat, all of you? No. I'll tell you. Wait. I'm using export command. Export is to take the data from the kops state store. That means inside the kops, whatever the state files I'm having, export all of these state files to my current bucket. I'll show it practically for you. Once it is done, I'll show you practical. Okay, fine. Praful, step number 1 is just giving permission. Kops is third party tool. If you want to create the cluster with the help of third party tool, we need to give the permission. For that purpose, I give the IAM access for it. Finally, step number 4, sir. It is your last step to create the cluster. Step number 4 is creating the cluster. With the help of kops command, see. With the help of kops command, create the cluster. With the help of kops, what you are going to create? -- name. Name of the cluster is rahamesh.k8s.local. Cluster name can be anything. Bucket name and cluster name can be what? Different. No need to give the same name. -- zone. You are creating your kops state and which availability zone? US East 1. That means your servers are going to create on US East. -- master count. How many masters you are having? 1 master. -- master size. What is the instance type for master? And how many worker nodes you are going to create? What is the size of worker nodes? T2 micro. That's it. So with the help of kops, you are creating the cluster. What is the name of the cluster? ram_k8s.local. In which availability zone you are creating? How many masters you are going to create? What is the master size? How many worker nodes you are creating? What is the size here? Micro. Clear or not, sir? That's it. So now here what you are going to do, if you run this command within 5 minutes. How many minutes? Your infrastructure is going to create automatically. It's creating exactly, we started the infrastructure at 11:32, right? By 11:37 end, you are going to get the infrastructure. I'll do nothing. For the next 5 minutes, I'll do nothing. I'll just relax here. My infrastructure is going to be created on 5 minutes. Total 98 tasks you are going to run. How many tasks? Guys, lastly, give this comment. Okay. So after your cluster is configured, give the command kops update cluster -- name of the cluster -- yes admin. If you run this command, it is going to create now. So see, 11:33, I started running this command. So 11:38 is going to be your last time. Kops update cluster means I'll explain this command. Kops update cluster. That means update the cluster. What is the name of the cluster? raham.s.get.s.local --. Yes, really update that one, and I am giving the admin privileges. So now if you give this now, it is going to create all of them. And if you want to see what is happening behind the scenes, run this command kops validate cluster. If you give the kops validate cluster now, it is going to show what is happening inside the, like, behind the scenes actually. But guys, you are going to get a lot of errors, so ignore every error for the next 5 minutes. So we'll see you in next 5 minutes. And one more thing. So from today onwards, I'm gonna post some DevOps openings on my LinkedIn account. You can follow there and you can get updates as well. Basically, apart from Naresh, I'm also going to contribute for your placement. I'll post some of the openings there. So this is going to have both experience and fresher. You can apply from there itself. Okay. Sir, what is the time now, sir? 11:38. I started the command execution on 11:33. Within 5 minutes, your cluster is. Sir, here whatever you created, you created a lot of the resources with the automation. If you ask me, currently if you go here, it is your console, right? First of all, there is one bucket. Inside this bucket, are you seeing cluster information here? Are you seeing every information or not? Now go to the EC2 service. Sir, I just ran only comments, correct or not, sir? But the commands entirely created my infrastructure. If you go to here. Oh, 1 second. Have I given US East 1? Okay, no worries. You can go for Northern Virginia actually. Are you seeing your servers here? I give like basically I configured for Mumbai only, but in commands I give US East 1. But don't worry, it is going to create an US East 1. Are you seeing one master and two worker nodes? Master is having T2 medium. We configured or not, sir? Worker nodes are having T2 micro. If you come here, are you seeing volumes for the servers here? And if you go, are you seeing here NACL? Network interfaces. Are you seeing or not? Network interfaces. Next one. If you go for load balancer, how I create load balancer? Seeing one load balancer here? For my cluster only. If you see raham.kts.local, go for auto scaling group. Auto scaling group also created by Kops as well. And even if you go for VPC, if you check VPC, this VPC also created automatically with the help of CLI commands. We go for VPC. Are you seeing your VPC, sir? Inside this VPC, are you seeing subnets? Subnet you are seeing or not? And are you seeing route table here? And are you seeing internet gateway here? Sir, have I created any of this resource manually? How I have done it? With the help of only one command. Guys, remember here entire commands are not comes under the action. This is the only one command that create the cluster actually. Above all of them are prerequisite actually. All of them are what? So this is the single command used to create the cluster. Sir, if you want to create this resource in AWS, you know how much time it will take? Already we have some of the people who learned your AWS. Like I think you started, like you've done this, right? So how much time it will take if you start doing this on AWS? Like give me a rough figure, like how much of hours? 10 to 12 minutes. Sir. All of them, including VPC also. I'm asking about every service I created here. VPC, internet gateway, NAT gateway, route table, servers, elastic load balancer, auto scaling groups, IAM roles also. Definitely 45 minutes to 1 hour in a list case. But in here, with the help of Kops, how much time we have spared? This is the power of DevOps actually. This is what you can call as automation. If you learn AWS, you need to create all of them manual. But DevOps taught you automation or not, sir? That is how it is going to work. Clear for all of you know? So this is the way of creating cluster. If you give the command Kops, get cluster. Are you seeing the cluster here? Give the command kubectl, get node, get envo. Envo means node. Are you seeing nodes here? Clear or not, sir? So this is the way how we are going to create the Kubernetes cluster, sir. Is Kubernetes cluster creation for creating clear for all of you? That's it. But here, apart from that, I'm going to teach you some admin activities. Why? Because for every tool, I say to admin activities or not, sir? For Docker, we have seen admin activities. For Ansible, we have seen. For Jenkins, also seen. Like that, Kubernetes also, I'm going to teach you some admin level activities. Sir, for example, these commands, if you want to list the cluster, what is the command? Kops get cluster. If you want to edit the cluster information, you need to run this command. Kops edit cluster. Kops edit cluster. Name of the cluster if you want to edit. For example, sir, currently how many worker nodes I have? I want to scale it. I want to scale my worker nodes. Here, you can edit your instance group, node instance group by using this command. If you copy paste this command, here you can go and you can give the worker nodes information. Currently, how many worker nodes are there here? 2. Just make it to 4. Just give 4 and here also 4. Sir, manually, here you are able to see only 2 worker nodes are not, sir, from the console point of view. From the console point of view, how many worker nodes you are seeing here? 1 and 2. But here, if you save this file, give the command kops update cluster. After saving this command, give the command kops update cluster. This command. If you give this, it is going to ask you to run one more command. Kops rolling update. Let me give these commands here. You need to give the command kops rolling update cluster -- yes. If you give this command, now it is going to scale from 2 worker nodes to, let's see it practically. Why? Because scaling the cluster is not our work. Basically, it is the work that is going to be done by admins. So this command kops rolling update cluster and give -- yes. Why? Because if you don't give -- yes, it is not going to work. So you're updating, sir, now. Now just wait for 2 to 3 minutes. You are going to get the new worker nodes. In the meanwhile, I'm going to write the comments here. So I'm going to put it as here admin activities. To scale the worker nodes. Of course, not only scale, to change worker node configuration. You can do whatever you want here. Sir, currently how many you are seeing? 2 worker nodes. Click on refresh. How many came, sir? How much time it has taken? Very short span, correct or not? So like this, you can scale it, sir. Sir, I want to scale this time master nodes. How many master nodes are there? This time I want to scale the master nodes. What I can do, same command. Here, I give some commands, right? Here, if you want to change your master node, give the command kops edit IG. IG means instance group. -- name of the cluster and give the master node you want to change, right? Give the master USist 1. We run this command. Currently, how many master nodes you are having? I want it to make it as 2. So replace 2 and 2. After you read the file, you want to give the command kops update cluster. What you want to give? Once you give the kops update cluster, again you are going to give the rolling cluster. What you are going to give? Kops update, kops rolling update cluster -- yes. Like same command, how we have done for worker node, same command for master node as well. So again, give the same command, kops rolling update cluster -- guys, if you don't run that command, you are not going to get the output. If you change after you update, but you forgot to roll, you are not going to get the output. Now currently go and see. You are going to get 2 master nodes. How many master nodes? Wait for a few seconds. Why? Because server creation will take at least 30 to 40 seconds, right? So wait for it. Currently, are you seeing master node 1 and master node 2, sir? Came or not? So this is the way of scaling the cluster. Simply, instead of creating servers, what I have done, just edited one single file. That single file done the entire operation or not, sir? That is what you call as automation. But again, same thing, if you want to do on AWS, how much time it will take, sir, for auto scaling adding? It will take some time, at least 5 to 10 minutes in a least case. So this is the way how to scale the cluster. Of course, even if you want to change other properties, currently for master nodes, you are having T2 medium, correct or not, sir? For worker nodes, you are having T2 micro. What you can do is, Kops edit IG. I want to edit the worker node information. Go here. And instead of T2 micro, you can put T2 medium. But if I do it, it is going to take at least 10 minutes. Why? Because I am having 4 servers now. First of all, these 4 servers is going to stay. No, it's going to stay. It is going to create 4 new servers with T2 medium and removing all of the T2 micro servers one by one. Same we have seen LiPo manner, right? In pods. What it is going to do is, first of all, it is not going to delete the servers. It is going to create servers with T2 medium. When T2 medium is going to create, it is going to remove T2 micro. Like that. Like this, even if you want to change image, currently I am having Ubuntu. If you want to change to Amazon Linux, put here Amazon Linux. Clear now? Whatever properties you want to change, you can change with single command. Kops edit IG is the command. And give the name of the cluster and give which node you want to edit, master or worker. That is going to do the entire work. Clear now, sir? If you give the command kubectl get nodes, how many nodes you are seeing? 4 worker nodes. Correct or not, sir? But sir, here still you are seeing one master node. Master node is nothing but control plane. Another alternative is master control plane. Sir, why you are seeing only one control plane? Means second one is created. Correct or not, sir? But you are not getting 2 by 2 checks. Are you seeing 2 by 2 checks for master node initializing now? Still on which status? For that purpose, it is not showing there. If that is also initialized, you can see the 2 master nodes. Wait for it. Same. Whatever you have done on Minikube, same command you can execute here. You can get the same output. But Minikube, you are going to create pod on single server. But here you are going to create the same pods on multiple servers. Even if you create a deployment, if I give 10 pods, how many servers I have now? Worker nodes. 4 worker nodes. Each of the worker nodes are going to get 2 to 2 equally, and remaining 2 are going to get for 2 of the 4 worker nodes. If you want me to show, let me show you. So currently, sir, in last class, you have shown how to run a deployment, right? I'm using the same file here, nothing difference here. It is my deployment file. Create the deployment. vim abc.yml. Currently, if you give the command kubectl get PO, I don't have any pods as of now. Kubectl create -f abc.yml. Is the deployment created? Currently, I have only 3 pods. How many pods? Kubectl get PO-o void means, sir, I have 4 worker nodes. Pod 1 is going for this worker node. Of course, you can give the host name as well. I haven't given the host name. If you want to give the host name, you can give it. Pod 2 is going for worker node 2. Pod 3 is going for worker node. But when I increase kubectl scale deploy, what is the name of the deployment? Swiggy rs -- replicas is equal to, let's give 8. If I give 8, each server is going to get 2. Oh, 1 second. Hyphen is must here. Scale done, sir, now. How many replicas will I get now? 8 replicas. How many servers I have now? 4 worker nodes. How many worker nodes? That means each of the worker node is going to get how many pods, sir? Guys, here one thing is, in Kubernetes, you cannot create pods on master node. Why? Because master node is by default tainted. Tainted means it will not accept the pods. Complete pods you are going to create on worker nodes only. Clear now? Give the command kubectl get PO-o void. Now you can see each of the worker node is going to get 2 pods. Are you seeing these 2 worker nodes, sir? 133, 133. Done. Second one, double F. Lastly, here also double F. Correct or not, sir? Third one, B2. Here also B2. Fourth one, 4-2, 4-2. That means each of the worker node got how many pods? 2 pods. Correct or not, sir? Like this. If you give this command, kubectl describe node. Okay, what is the name of the command? Kubectl describe node means it is going to give the complete information of the node. Are you seeing the complete information here? Route table created, memory is allocated, disk space is allocated, kubectl is ready. Are you seeing complete information or not, sir? How many CPUs am I having here? How much of memory here am I having? Of course, it is on kilobyte. That means almost 1 GB of RAM actually. If you can come here, sir, are you seeing the CPU limitation and memory limitation, sir? Are you able to see or not? Like that. And even if you can scroll, how much of CPU you are using, how much of memory you are using, everything you are going to get from here. What is the command I shown you here? Kubectl describe node. Clear now? So that is the command for it. So this is the way of creating the Kubernetes cluster, sir. So cluster, how we created manual or automation? Manual. Sir, after that, one more main command is I want to tell you. Kops get a cluster. It is going to show me the cluster name. Sir, cluster you cannot delete manually. Here, if you try to delete this server, it is going to recreate one more self, like one more time. Why? Because there is auto scaling group enabled here. What is enabled? In your practice, try to delete one server. It will be recreated. You cannot delete this cluster manually. It is highly impossible. If you want to delete manually, you need to delete everything one by one manually. For that purpose, you can use a single command. Kops delete cluster or kops delete cluster. It is my cluster name, right? Hyphen name of the cluster is ramshek kds.local and hyphen yes. If you give this command only, your cluster is going to delete. Otherwise, your cluster will not delete it. It is going to create the worker nodes one by one very, very frequently. This command also I'm going to give it here. Wait. One more thing, like what is the command to tell the information of worker nodes? Kubectl node and here give the ID. What you want to give? ID means what? Node ID you are going to give. What you are going to give? Are you seeing your cluster is going now? And even if you go for your AWS console, click on refresh. Every server is going to delete automatically. Everything is gone or not, sir? Why? Because I deleted the cluster. So with the help of Kops, what I said here, you can create the cluster. Have I shown you how to create cluster? Have I shown you how to delete cluster? Have I shown you how to upgrade? Upgrade means scaling and everything we can do. And maintain. Maintain means you create a deployment that is going to bring back the pods to flexible worker nodes. Whatever I said, everything we have seen on the class. Clear now? So this is Kops for you. Very, very high end tool. In real time, you are going to work this. But the thing is, nobody is going to teach Kops. Why? Because it is very difficult to teach. If I feel it is difficult to teach for you, you will miss the real time content or not, sir? Of course, Kops is difficult. Even I am telling you, it is difficult only. But to grab the real time knowledge, you need to face these difficulties, sir. Kubedium is very, very easy. I can complete Kubedium within 2 minutes. If I complete Kubedium in 2 minutes, are you going to feel happy or not, sir? Class is done for today. Even I will feel very happy. Subject is done. But that's not the method. Even if it is difficult, I'll teach the real-time orientation content only. Now, before going for doubts or queries, how the class for today? Little bit hard, right? But it is little bit, not little bit. It is more bit real-time. Even if it is hard, that is real-time content only. Don't worry. Everything you have seen manual. I mean, installing everything is manual. Tomorrow I'm going to run script actually. To create the cluster, today we spend the whole class, right? But when you come to tomorrow's class, to create the cluster, you are going to spend first 7 minutes only. How many minutes? 1 hour is equal to 7 minutes there. So now you can go for doubts and queries. What's our not having doubts or queries? Eh? Okay, in practice, you are going to get a lot of doubts. Anyways, what is your repository name? Hmm. Yeah, we can take. If you want me to show, even though if you delete the cluster, right, you have the bucket. Inside the bucket, you have still the configuration files. If you open this one, are you seeing configuration files here? Sir, what happened, sir? You said something wrong. What I said here, even though if you delete the infra, in bucket you have the configuration files. But what you are seeing here, that means I said wrong or not, sir? Said wrong. Are you seeing the button here? Click on the button. Are you seeing the configuration here? Have I said the wrong, sir? No? Versioning, yeah. If there is versioning, even though if you remove the objects, you can able to retrieve or not. That's it. So it is the Kops for day one. But don't worry, this setup again you are going to do in the very first 7 minutes of tomorrow's session. I'm gonna recap this one more time in tomorrow's class as well. Oh, it is chaos. So nodes given on your GitHub. In real time, how many nodes we create? So depends upon your application, but prefer to create 5 node cluster. If you ask me, Kiran, you can create 3 node cluster, you can create 5 node and 7 node is very big. Again, so I said right, depends upon your requirement. So any doubts or any queries from your end? Nothing, eh? Huh? Okay, what about you? Any doubts or any queries from your end? Online, any queries from your end before I wrap? DevOps near only, Kiran. We are going to decide it. If you tell me the application type, I can tell you the configuration for it. Basically, 3 node cluster is enough. Whenever your load is going to increase, this cluster is going to scale automatically for it. Based upon what factors? Based upon what factor means I am saying, right? If you have limited customers, there is no need of scaling actually. But if the customers are going to increase rapidly, so you need to scale it. And one more thing here, if you create the cluster, right, depends upon the requirement, it is going to scale automatically. For example, today 100 servers, 100 users came. I have 3 servers. Tomorrow 200 users came. How many servers I want? 6. Auto scaling group is going to scale the server automatically. Yeah, we are going to set the CPU limit. Based upon the CPU limit, you are going to scale the cluster. VR means Kops actually. We will never do it. Kops will scale automatically itself. Hope it is clear for you, Kiran. Yeah, welcome. So then anything you want me to ask, you want me to discuss regarding the Kops or anything? Give me 1 second. Sanjeev, basically S3 won't create won't delete. Why? Because we create with the help of CLR, right? We delete in the cluster, it is not going to delete by default. Okay, so seems pretty good. So manually need to delete. Yes, exactly. Manually you can delete. Of course, with the help of CLR also you can delete. Okay, so seems today's enough for the stuff here. So let's meet on you tomorrow's session. But tomorrow I'm gonna make it automation everything. Okay. Okay then. Thank you everyone. So let's meet on you tomorrow's session. Have a great day.